We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM introduction, and here Gaur Lila is going on. So we heard how Mahaprabhu explained to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya about Vedanta Sutra. After hearing all these speeches of the Lord, yes, this we also heard, then the Bhattacharya desired to listen to the explanation of the Atmarama Shlok from the Bhagavatam. The Lord first of all asked Bhattacharya to explain it, and after that he would explain it. The Bhattacharya then explained the shloka in a scholarly way with special reference to logic. He explained the shloka in 9 different ways, chiefly based on logic, because he was the most renowned scholar of logic of the time. The Lord, after hearing the Bhattacharya, thanked him for the scholarly presentation of the shloka, and then, at the request of the Bhattacharya, the Lord explained the shloka in 64 different ways without touching the 9 explanations given by the Bhattacharya. Here it was 18. Then to Sanatana Goswami he explained in 60 ways, and then one more appeared in association of Sanatana Goswami. I heard from our Gurudev that in Dhaka University or somewhere, the Gauriya Mat Sannyasis, they were speaking Harikatha and the students were hearing, and then they changed. Because someone said, no, this Gauriya, some Brahmin scholar said, these Gauriya Mat Sannyasis, they have no knowledge of Sanskrit, they don't know how to pronounce properly all these things. So then the dean of that university, he changed. He invited some scholarly Brahmins, and they would very nicely pronounce and everything. And the students had to listen. Then the students themselves complained to the dean, why you changed? This is not good. Yes, they are externally, they are nice tune and like this, but there is no life in it. We want to hear Gauriya Mat Sannyasis. There is some life in it. So the point is, if one is a devotee, then he can grasp what is in Shastra, and he will inspire others because he has example also. But only outwardly logical, scholarly, all these Sanskrit, these things, that may attract some other scholars and intellectuals, but it will not satisfy the soul. The students themselves, they felt that difference. Then they had to change again. They invited Gauriya Mat Sannyasis. So here also, Bhattacharya, because he was not devotee at that time, of course playing the pastime, so he explained according to his capacity, but that is not a right explanation. A right explanation comes only to one who is completely surrendered to Supreme Lord. Yasya deve parabhaktir yata deve tata guru tasete katita hyartha prakashante mahatmana. One has to have devotion to Supreme Lord, and in both Ashray Vigraha and Vishwa Vigraha, means to Supreme Lord and also his paraphernalia, pure devotee, to Guru. Then to such a person, the meaning of the Shastra will be revealed to such Mahatma. Only devotee can actually understand. Thus, after hearing the explanation of the Atmarama Shlok from the Lord, the Bhattacharya was convinced that such a scholarly presentation is impossible for an earthly creature. Here Sai Maharaj is telling that the explanation given by the Lord will form a booklet itself. So he did not go into details here. Therefore, we have presented it in a chapter in our teachings of Lord Chaitanya, another one book. Before this, Sri Gopinath Acharya had tried to convince him of the divinity of the Lord, but at that time he could not so accept him. But the Bhattacharya was astounded by the Lord's exposition of the Vedanta Sutra and the explanations of the Atmarama Shlok, and thus he began to think that he had committed a great offense at the lotus feet of the Lord by not recognizing him to be Krishna himself. When Gopinath Acharya argued with Sarvabhattacharya, why you are saying you have to speak Vedanta Sutra to him so that he can keep sannyas, like that he is some ordinary young boy, prematurely took sannyas. He is Supreme Lord. Then they were arguing. Sarvabhattacharya said, no, it is impossible. Then Gopinath Acharya said, yes, but what I can say, what I can do, you cannot understand, because you are Jnani. Unless you receive the mercy of Supreme Lord, you cannot understand. Then Sarvabhattacharya said, yes, you got the grace. How do I know you got the grace? And then Gopinath Acharya said, the proof that I got the grace is because I am accepting him as Supreme Lord. That is the proof. Sarvabhattacharya still could not accept, but now he, by the grace of Mahaprabhu, when he got the grace, he understood this is not ordinary man. So he then surrendered unto him, repenting for his past dealings with him, and the Lord was kind enough to accept the Bhattacharya. Out of his causeless mercy, the Lord manifested before him first as four-handed Narayan, and then again as two-handed Lord Krishna with a flute in his hand. The Bhattacharya at once fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord and composed many suitable shlokas in praise of the Lord by his grace. 100 shlokas he composed. They are very famous. And yes, he composed almost 100 shlokas in praise of the Lord. And there is one song also by Sarvabhattacharya, Ujjvala Bharana Gaura Bharadeha. We are singing in Vienna temple in the morning. Gaur Purnima, like this, that song. The Lord then embraced him, and out of transcendental ecstasy, the Bhattacharya lost consciousness of the physical state of life. Tears, trembling, throbbing of the heart, perspiration, emotional waves, dancing, singing, crying, and all the 8 symptoms of trance were manifested in the body of the Bhattacharya. Sri Gopinath Acharya became very glad and astonished by this marvelous conversion of his brother-in-law by the grace of the Lord. When one receives the grace of the Lord or his pure devotee, then change can happen, not just by argument or theory. Out of the 100 celebrated shlokas composed by the Bhattacharya in praise of the Lord, the following 2 are most important, and these 2 shlokas explain the mission of the Lord in gist. They are quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Here only the translation is given. Let me surrender unto the personality of Godhead, who has appeared now as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the ocean of all mercy, and he has now come down to teach us material detachment, learning, and devotional service to himself. This is the first shloka. Second one. Since pure devotional service of the Lord has been lost in the oblivion of time, the Lord has appeared to renovate the principles, and therefore I offer my obeisances unto his lotus feet. The Lord explained the word mukti to be equivalent to the word Vishnu or the personality of Godhead. To attain mukti or liberation from the bondage of material existence is to attain to the service of the Lord. This is in relation to what happened next. Some days after Sarvam Bhattacharya spoke that verse from Bhagavatam, Tattenu kampam susamikshamanam bhunjanaivatma kritam vipakam hrit vak vapur bir vidadhan namaste jiveta jo mukti pade sadhaya bhak. But Bhattacharya, this is original, Bhattacharya changed Jiveta jo bhakti pade sadhaya bhak. He changed. And Mahaprabhu asked, why you changed that word? He said, now I cannot even hear the word mukti. Because Mayavadis, they are all the time only mukti, 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 mukti. They think that is ultimate goal of life. Then he used bhakti pade. One who will see the grace of Supreme Lord in all circumstances. He will not blame anyone for his own suffering because he knows I am reaping the fruits of my own actions. Others may be instrumental and the fruits are given by Supreme Lord who is all good. So he will accept, and not having any anger, hostility, grudge or any accusation or complaint towards anyone in this world. He is free. He has no issue with anyone. That is why he is free to devote himself fully by body, mind and speech to Supreme Lord. Hrit Vak Vapur Bir Vidadhan Namaste. As long as we blame others, we cannot give ourselves fully to Krishna. Impossible. Because our attention will be caught by that issue. But if one can do this and completely submit to God, then Jiveta Jomuk, the one who will live in such a way, then Mukti Pade Sadaya Bhat. He will become heir. He will inherit the kingdom of God. So he said Bhakti Pade. He will attain the devotion. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said no, there is no need to change the word because Vyasadeva is a perfect person. What he wrote is correct. But there are another meanings also of mukti. So mukti is this, to the word Vishnu, and also at whose feet all muktis are there, or one attaining whom one will think mukti is insignificant, many different meanings. And also mukti can refer to like impersonal liberation from Maya, or it can also mean to be reinstated in one's Swarup as eternal servant of Krishna. In Bhagavatam, one shloka is there, Sarupa Vyastiti, when one will, here Sai Maharaj said, to attain to the service of the Lord. That is also another meaning of mukti. The Lord then proceeded towards South India for some time and converted all he met on the way to become devotees of Lord Krishna. Such devotees also converted many others to the cult of devotional service or to the Bhagavad Dharma of the Lord, and thus he reached the bank of the Godavari, where he met Srila Ramananda Rai, the governor of Madras on behalf of Maharaj Prataparudra, the king of Orissa. Awakened soul can awake other sleeping souls. So Mahaprabhu is himself now in the mood of devotee. Practical life is there, so he can also awake others. and especially because he has that capability to give Kripa Siddhi also. By embracing or by looking just or by wishing, he can give them prem without any sadhana. So Mahaprabhu did it when he went to South India, and now they became pure devotees immediately. So these pure devotees, they also converted others in the village, and those converted others like this. So whole South India, they became devotees. So he met Raya Ramananda. His talks with Ramananda Rai are very important for higher realization of transcendental knowledge, and the conversation itself forms a small booklet. We shall, however, give herewith a summary of the conversation. Sri Ramananda Rai was a self-realized soul, although outwardly he belonged to the caste lower than the Brahmana in social status. He was not in the renounced order of life, and besides that he was a high government servant in the state. Still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him as a liberated soul on the strength of the high order of his realization of transcendental knowledge. Raya Ramananda, as is natural for any pure devotee, he said, "No, why you want to hear from me? I am low, I am nothing." Then Mahaprabhu said, "No, Kiba Bipra, Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kena, no, Jai Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Hoy." He may be Brahmin or not, sannyasi or householder or Shudra or whatever, outwardly. But if he knows the science of Krishna, means he has a realization of Krishna, he knows Krishna personally, then he is Guru, bona fide Guru. He can tell us about Krishna, he can give us the service of Krishna. Nowadays also some are saying, even Gauriya Vaishnavas, they are saying only one who is born in Brahmin family, he can be Guru. But that is not correct. Even Mahaprabhu himself said this. So that is deviation. And though they are speaking this, and they are in the Guru Parampara, means they got the grace of Guru Parampara, this Guru Parampara, they don't remember that Narottam Thakur, he is not born in Brahmin family. So by saying this, I am cutting my own Guru Parampara. From where I got the grace, I am cutting the branch on a tree on which I am sitting, I am cutting by this. That is some deviation. Even in the life of Narottam Thakur, this pastime was there, that so many Brahmins, they became envious of Narottam Thakur. Why? He is taking disciples, he is not even Brahmin. Then they got defeated by his own disciples and all. That is well known. So Gauriya Vaishnava to say like this is very astonishing. That one Gauriya Vaishnava will say only one who is Brahmin born can be Guru. That is very astonishing. And also here it is mentioned, similarly, the Lord accepted Srila Haridas Thakur, a veteran devotee of the Lord coming from a Mohammedan family. He is a Nama Acharya, teacher of the holy name. He initiated Lakshahira, and she became pure devotee. He initiated into Mahamantra only. Haridas Thakur did not accept Mantra Diksha, but he had Prem. And he gave to Lakshahira only Harinam, not Mantra Diksha, and she became pure devotee. Even Maya Devi herself came to test, and when she failed, then she also submitted to Haridas Thakur, you give me initiation. He gave. So he's a guru. how he can be guru? He's not born Brahmin. So that is astonishing. And another also thing happened that Pradyumna Mishra, he was a strict Brahmin. So Mahaprabhu sent him to hear Harikatha from Raya Ramananda, who is not Brahmin, purposely. Then after hearing Harikatha, then he was astonished, Pradyumna Mishra. So also many examples there in Gaur Lila and Sanoria, that Brahmin, and so many this is there. So this caste consciousness is not, and especially based on birth. If at least one would consider according to qualities, but not on birth. Of course, every bona fide Gauriya Guru, he is automatically a Brahmin. He must have all those good qualities because he is fully devoted to Krishna, so all good qualities are coming to him. They are natural for a sadhu. You'll find Kapil told to Mother Devahuti, Titikshava, Karunika, Suhriya Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatru, Shanta. A real sadhu who has one-pointed devotion to Krishna, my Ananya Bhavena, Jetridant, very firm in one-pointed devotion, naturally these concomitant or accompanying qualities are manifested in him. He is tolerant, he is compassionate, he is friendly to all living entities. He does not see anyone as his enemy or a stranger because all are related with us in relation to Supreme Lord. And he's Shanta, always peaceful because no other desire. So that is naturally. Every guru, he may be born in Brahmin or not, but whoever is a pure devotee, automatically he is a Brahmin. Like Haridas Thakur. Who can tolerate like him? And forgiveness and well-wishing, everything. And there are many other great devotees of the Lord who came from different communities, sects, and castes. The Lord's only criterion was the standard of devotional service of the particular person. He was not concerned with the outward dress of a man. He was concerned only with the inner soul and its activities. Therefore, all the missionary activities of the Lord are to be understood to be on the spiritual plane. And as such, the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or the cult of the Bhagavad Dharma has nothing to do with mundane affairs, sociology, politics, economic development, or any such sphere of life. SRIMAD, you see, only realized soul can express as now. SRIMAD Bhagavatam is the purely transcendental urge of the soul. One who is a realized soul, he can write like this. SRIMAD Bhagavatam is the purely transcendental urge of the soul to serve Krishna. That is devotion, not any external things. We may act also, I'm a devotee or like this, but I'm not actually surrendered, not desiring to serve Krishna. Even as a devotee, I have false ego of a devotee. and I want to be independent. I have liking for this kind of service and not for this like this, and I am not ready to follow the order of Guru. And I'm afraid to accept the order of Guru. Why? What if that will not be what I like? So even I may outwardly present myself as a devotee, but I have these likes and dislikes according to my own sense enjoyment as a devotee. So I don't like to be under the order of bona fide Guru. I have my own conditions. I'm not unconditionally surrendered. So I cannot get the service of Krishna. So that we have to cross over this false ego also. False ego is not only in like I am Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, American, Indian, all this. Not only this, even as a devotee, acting like a devotee, you may have false ego. It is proved by whether you are able to follow and able to surrender to a bona fide Guru. Of course, if someone is bogus Guru, he will want to engage you in something for his own interest. That is another thing. But I am speaking about bona fide Guru, pure devotee. He cannot order anything else except the service of Krishna, what Krishna wants. So if I am afraid to surrender, means I have my own conditions. So gradually we have to remove those things also. So devotion means urge of the soul to serve Krishna. It is coming from the Atma, from the soul, awakened Atma. Not outward show. When he met Sri Ramananda Rai on the bank of the Godavari, the Varna ashram dharma followed by the Hindus was mentioned by the Lord. Sri Ramananda Rai said that by following the principles of Varna ashram dharma, the system of 4 castes and 4 orders of human life, everyone could realize transcendence. Yesterday I was remembering this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Raya Ramananda, what is the ultimate goal of life? And what is the process to attain it? You please explain to me by giving a reference to scripture. This is important. Mahaprabhu made this pastime. He did not say according to your opinion. I don't want to hear your opinion. Whatever you will say must be proved by scripture, because scripture is perfect. It is coming from Supreme Lord. So first, Raya Ramananda said one verse from, I think, one Puran. If one follows Varna Ashram Dharma, he will satisfy Vishnu. There is no other way to satisfy Vishnu. It is in Sanskrit, there is no other way. Nanyat, na anyat, no other way. So then how we can understand this? And Mahaprabhu said this is superficial, yes. In the opinion of the Lord, the system of Varna Ashram is superficial only, and it has very little to do with the highest realization of spiritual values. So Mahaprabhu said this is eho bhajya age kohoa. This is external, you speak further. But how? Shastra says there is no other way. So how we can understand this? Shastra is perfect. Shastra is telling there is no other way except this to please Vishnu. And Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this is external. You say something further. The point is we cannot understand Shastra unless we are under the guidance of a realized soul, in whose heart the meaning of Shastra is revealed. One cannot understand Shastra by knowledge of Sanskrit only, and the logic and great intellect and these things. To a surrendered soul, Shastra is revealing meaning. So here it means for those who are eligible for karma kand. Shastra says like this: you have to do this. There is no other way, because it is necessary for him to get such encouragement, because he's eligible for that. Like in school, there are first grade, second grade, all in same building. So father will say to son, when he first goes to school, he will say, you have to go to this classroom, not any other. He may even say they are bad. Why? Because he has to attend that class. If he will go some other classroom, that is good, but it is not for him at this moment. So he must make such statement. Shastra many times makes such statement to give nishta, one pointedness for that which one is eligible. But that does not mean that absolutely no other way. So we have to understand how Shastra is there and how to apply Shastra. For that reason we need realized soul. Otherwise, by intellect, we will think either Shastra is bogus or Mahaprabhu is bogus, because Shastra says there is no other way. And Mahaprabhu said, this is external, you speak further. So who is bogus now? Both are right if you properly understand. So that is why that is necessary, not by our intellect and this. Through surrender to bona fide Guru, like in Purushottam month we are hearing, Shastra is one, but speaking according to different eligibility for different people. So those who are eligible for karma, they will even criticize Paramartha section of the Vedas. That is very bad. And in Purushottam month, you should not do any religious activities. It is impure month, very bad. So don't do. And they have to follow that. And the same Shastra saying for others who have awakened that eligibility for devotion, they will say, no, this is the best month for bhajan. Should not waste time. It's best. You do more bhajan. Same Shastra, because speaking according to eligibility, that is why what is meant for Satya Yuga, like we cannot do bhajan like Dhruva externally. We are not in Satya Yuga. We cannot live on air. And only sometimes breathing in on every some days. That is not possible. And so many things. But we have to hear Bhagavatam. So how to apply that? We have to, all Bhagavatam is same purpose. It is surrender to Krishna, devotion to attain him, same purpose. But how, what we have to apply, that we need bona fide Guru. Then that same purpose we will get from that. But if whimsically, based on our own ideas, we will try to practice by consulting Shastra, then that is wrong. We cannot get. One time, one devotee said that Kapil Devahuti Bhagavan, that Sambat I have to hear. Then Guru said, yes, you read, but don't apply that. Because Kapil Bhagavan told to Devahuti much about Ashtanga Yoga also. Many things. That is not bad. But it is not to be applied by us now. Because we have this verse from Brihad Naradiya Puran, I think. Harer Nam, Eva Kevalam. Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gutiranata. No other way except Harinam. No meditation, no Ashtanga Yoga, no this, no nothing. Because that you cannot do in Kali Yuga. You are not, that does not mean that all those are useless. No, they are doing, they are working. But in other ages, in this age you will not be able. So this verse is given for us to make us one pointed to Harinam. Mahaprabhu said the highest perfection of life is to get detached from the material attachment and proportionately realize the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The personality of Godhead recognizes a living being who is progressing in that line. Devotional service, therefore, is the culmination of the culture of all knowledge. When Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared for the deliverance of all fallen souls, he advised the deliverance of all living entities as follows. The Supreme Absolute Personality of Godhead, from whom all living entities have emanated, must be worshipped by all their respective engagements, because everything that we see is also the expansion of his energy. That is the way of real perfection, and it is approved by all bona fide acharyas, past and present. The system of Varna Ashram is more or less based on moral and ethical principles. There is very little realization of the transcendence as such, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected this as superficial and asked Ramananda to go further into the matter. He did not say absolutely not or absolutely bogus. He did not say this. He said that is external. Go further, because this teaching is not what I came to give. But that does not mean that following Varna Ashram is bad or that it doesn't work. It is the first step. If one goes by gradual procedure, is first step in surrendering to Supreme Lord, to accept the regulation of Shastra. Then gradually one will offer fruits. Means without attachment to the fruits he will do, that is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then his heart will be purified. Then he will come to Gyan. He will understand non-eternal, eternal, and gradually come to devotion. But one can directly also come to devotion by the grace of Krishna and his pure devotee. So if this is available, then it is foolishness to accept that. And that will be stated as not, don't take that if devotion is available. He may say like that, or some guru, he may say to his disciples, because these disciples, they are sent by Nityananda Prabhu, inspiring in their heart to this particular guru. That is the arrangement by Nityananda Prabhu. So they have to work for him and follow him. They should not be going here and there. They have to be focused here, then they will progress. Like in school, teacher, there are many teachers in different grades, but now I have to follow the teacher in my class, one-pointedly. So if I am looking here and there like this, then they have to tell me, no, this teacher is only good teacher, there is no other good teacher. In order to focus me here, because that is what I have to do now. Then gradually, when I will accomplish that, then I will get another teacher. He was existing already before, but I was not eligible for that class like this. So sometimes, even spiritual, one bona fide guru, he may say, I am the only one. There is no one else. All are bogus. I am the only one. He's not speaking this out of sectarianism or out of pride or anything. He's speaking to make that disciple focused where he has to be focused now. And because Nityananda Prabhu wants this guru to do something, they have to assist him to do that something, not go here and there and read this and hear that. No, you have to be focused. So guru, he has that license, means bona fide guru, pure devotee. He is inspired by Supreme Lord to say in such a way. Outwardly we may think like sectarian or offensive, but it is not. It means he's justified by the end. He has to speak in such a way to keep them on proper track. That is his duty. Then later when they will grow up, then he will speak in different way, but at that moment he has to. So we cannot judge by these external words also only. We have to know inside his heart what is his motive, and if really we are wanting eternal welfare, then Krishna will let us know. He is a real devotee. You are thinking wrongly. He is a real devotee. Or for someone whom I am thinking, because it is according to my material liking, he is very good. He may be not good for you. He may be good for some others, but not for you. So that we have to also know. So here Mahaprabhu said, no, that is superficial. You tell something further. Sri Ramananda Rai then suggested a renunciation of fruitive actions unto the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita advises in this connection, whatever you do, whatever you eat and whatever you give, as well as whatever you perform in penance, offer to me alone. This dedication on the part of the worker suggests that the personality of Godhead is a step higher than the impersonal conception of the Varna Ashram system, but still the relation of the living being and the Lord is not distinct in that way. Because in the first verse, when he said about Varna Ashram Dharma, there Vishnu is mentioned. So generally Vishnu means one who is all-pervading spirit. That is Vishnu, all-pervading spirit. But in this second verse, already Krishna is mentioned, so that is more personal already. But still the relation of the living being and the Lord is not distinct in that way. The Lord therefore rejected this proposition and asked Ramananda Rai to go further. But again, Ramananda Rai gave right scriptural evidence. You have to do this. From Gita verse, the Supreme Lord's order. So now again we will be confused. Here Krishna is speaking, we have to do this. Mahaprabhu said, no, this is not, this is superficial. Speak something else. Then who is right now? Both are right. Rai then suggested a renunciation of the Varna Ashram, Dharma, and acceptance of devotional service. One second. That is Sarva Dharma Parityaja, he told. Why? Because in Varna Ashram Dharma, one has this ego I am Kshatriya, I am Rajogun, and Brahmin will think I am Sattvic, I am Brahmin. And Vaishya will think this. So to follow Varna Ashram Dharma is good for progress. And if you offer the fruits to Supreme Lord, that is better. But still that false ego is there. So you have to come out from that false ego by renouncing all karma altogether and enter into Gyan. And then there is Jnana Mishra Bhakti, and then also Shuddha Bhakti. The Lord did not approve of this suggestion also for the reason that all of a sudden one should not renounce his position, for that may not bring in the desired result. Here it is in brief, you will find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If one artificially renounces Varna, Ashram and Dharma before he is eligible for Gyan, that will also not be stable for him. He will fall down. So artificially one cannot jump ahead. It was further suggested by Rai that attainment of spiritual realization, freed from the material conception of life, is the topmost achievement for a living being. So here it is interesting. Another way of interpretation here Srila Sai Maharaj gave. The Lord rejected this suggestion also because on the plea of such spiritual realization, much havoc has been wrought by unscrupulous persons. Therefore, all of a sudden, this is not possible. Because here that verse is coming, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatmana Shochati Nakangshati Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Lavate Param. That is Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Before it was Gyan, renouncing all karma, giving up that ego. And this one is you are transcendently situated, and then you will get devotion to Krishna. So Mahaprabhu said this is also external. But here Sai Maharaj 2 times already he said one cannot suddenly do this. And they will say, yes, I'm spiritually situated, so I will not do any work. That will be wrong. Because he has no that actual spiritual realization. He is only pretending or acting for some material facility, for some fulfillment of some desires. The Rai then suggested sincere association of self-realized souls and hearing submissively the transcendental message of the pastimes of the personality of Godhead. This suggestion was welcomed by the Lord. This verse came, Jnane prayasam udapasya namantaiva, that's Sammukaritam. This, any kind of endeavor for impersonal realization by Gyan, that you should totally throw away and you should submit to Supreme Lord. How? By hearing about Him from self-realized soul. Wherever you are situated, in whatever condition, this is one meaning, sthanastita. Another meaning is, you have to go to that place where Harikatha is being spoken. That is the right place for you. Here, Mahaprabhu said, Eho, yes, I agree. Age kohwa, but still you tell something further. So this suggestion was welcomed by the Lord. This suggestion was made following in the footsteps of Brahmaji, who said that the personality of Godhead is known as Ajita. or the one who cannot be conquered or approached by anyone. But such a Jita also becomes Jita, means conquered, by one method, which is very simple and easy. The simple method is that one has to give up the arrogant attitude of declaring oneself to be God himself. This is also a nice explanation here. One must be very meek and submissive and try to live peacefully by lending the ear to the speeches of the transcendentally self-realized soul who speaks on the message of Bhagavad Dharma, or the religion of glorifying the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Like Srila Sridhar Maharaj told in that Harikatha, Absolute is unknown and unknowable because he is infinite, unlimited. How finite being, I, we, can know unlimited? If finite can know unlimited, then unlimited will lose his position. It cannot be. So he is unknown and unknowable. Bas, conclusion. Then the time was stopped. Then that person was surprised. Why? Then you took sannyas and doing so much penance to attain God. Anyhow, he is not attainable. If finite jiva can attain him, then he will lose his position. It is impossible for finite to know infinite, unlimited. Then Sridhar Maharaj said, yes, because you gave up to this point only time. I can explain the other aspect also if you give me time. They gave more time. Then he said, Absolute is unlimited. So if he cannot make himself known to limited, to finite, then also he is not unlimited. This quality will be lacking in him, this incapability. So it is possible to know him, but not by our effort, only when he reveals himself to a surrendered soul, then he can be known. So we are practicing this Sharanagati, acting according to his will. That is we are practicing, not inductive process by trying by our own effort to attain absolute knowledge. That is impossible. But acting according to his will, he is pleased to reveal himself to the finite also. Then it is possible. So tomorrow we will hear. So it is very simple. First you have to give up this arrogance that you can get it by your own effort, or that you think I am God, I am Supreme, I am Brahma. This arrogance you have to give up and submissively hear about Krishna from one who knows him, that Harikatha is not different from Krishna. If you hear that Harikatha with submission, that is actually Sharanagati. And following that Harikatha in your life, practically following, then who is otherwise Ajita, unconquerable or unknown and unknowable, he becomes Jita to such a person. He will reveal himself. He can conquer, he can know. So tomorrow we'll further hear.